Excellencies, distinguished guests, courageous women of Afghanistan. It is with great pleasure and at the same time with a sense of responsibility that I'm standing here before you. The feeling of responsibility is strong when sharing the room with a group of Afghan women whose courage and determination serve as an inspiration to us all. I would like to thank the co-organizers and all co-sponsoring missions and organizations. A special thanks to the Mission of Afghanistan, a close partner of the Permanent Mission of Greece to the United Nations, and to Faragir and Peace Direct, with whom the Mission of Greece has been collaborating in order to promote the rights of women in Afghanistan. Excellencies, last Saturday we commemorated the International Women's Day, honoring the social, economic and political achievements of women. Yet this day served as a painful reminder of the dire situation faced by the women and girls in Afghanistan. With more than 80 directives and decrees targeting the autonomy and everyday lives of women, the Taliban continues to engage in gender discrimination and gender-based violence, which may amount to gender persecution. The most recent example, as we saw, is the law on propagation of virtue and prevention of vice. The Taliban is trying to erase women from public life by restricting their freedom of movement, demanding that they be accompanied by male family members and that they have their bodies and faces covered in public. At the same time, the Taliban's decision to suspend women's and girls' access to education in private and public medical institutions in December 2024, combined with their previous decision to ban women from working for the United Nations and non-governmental organizations in Afghanistan, has had severe repercussions for the delivery of health care and humanitarian assistance to women and girls. Greece condemns in the strongest terms these egregious practices and urges the Taliban to put an end to the systematic and systemic violations of the human rights and fundamental freedoms of Afghan women, in line with Afghanistan's international obligations and commitments, in particular the Convention of the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. We also welcome any steps towards accountability. Despite the adversities of gender segregation, we are encouraged and inspired by the strength and courage demonstrated by the women of Afghanistan. Stories coming from various districts across the country highlight their resilience and radiate hope as women manage to overcome the restrictive policies by navigating the so-called grey zones and taking advantage of exemptions that allow them to continue working, pursuing education and staying active in social life. Inside and outside Afghanistan, the dynamic advocacy of the human rights movement for the fundamental freedoms of Afghan women is a voice that we will continue to support. According to UN Security Council decisions, the women of the country must be included in the discussions about their future across all fora. The political path forward cannot ignore the clear violations of international law, the breaches of fundamental human rights, and the disregard for gender equality norms, all of which undermine the very principles of the UN Charter itself. With these thoughts in mind, Greece will spare no effort, including in its capacity as a Security Council...
Mr. Stamatekos, I hate to interrupt.
I'm finishing in just 10 seconds. Greece will spare no effort, including in its capacity as a Security Council non-permanent member for the period 2025-2026, in calling on the Taliban to reverse all restrictions on the rights of women and girls. Any engagement with the Taliban cannot and will not be to the detriment of the women of the country. I thank you.